Have you at any point pondered the quiet battles that ladies face in our present reality in a general public that causes progress? Could it be said that we are really destroying the boundaries that have created shaded areas over ages of ladies as we explore the intricacies of contemporary life? It turns out to be progressively evident that ladies, paying little heed to foundation, experience a range of difficulties that are frequently slipped by everyone's notice in the midst of the commotion of our everyday schedules. It's not just about bias-based impediments at work. The implicit assumptions encompass us. The world might be changing, yet the heaviness of cultural standards and orientation generalizations perseveres past the meeting rooms and occupied roads, an unavoidable phantom torment ladies. The shadow of orientation-based savagery. Every measurement addresses an individual, a lady exploring a reality spoiled by dread and weakness. So how would we stand up to a world that sustains such difficulties? A world that requests correspondence on paper, however in the hearts and brains of each and every person. To face these difficulties, we should initially recognize them. Destroying the designs empowers segregation, testing obsolete standards, and encouraging a general public where each lady can flourish. In the midst of these difficulties, accounts of solidarity and versatility arise. Ladies overall are breaking hindrances, reshaping stories, and remaining as reference points of motivation for a long time into the future. It's a source of inspiration, an aggregate undertaking to rethink the story. For each battle, there is a victory ready to be commended. Furthermore, for each test, there is an answer ready to be found. As we divulge the concealed and enhanced voices that reverberate in the hearts of ladies, allow us to leave on an excursion toward a reality where difficulties change into open doors and where the strength of ladies turns into the foundation of a more splendid, more comprehensive future. Have you at any point paused for a minute to really comprehend the heaped difficulties that ladies face in our present reality as we guarantee progress? Might it be said that we are genuinely destroying the boundaries that cast shadows over ages of ladies? We should begin by looking at the primary point: developing internal strength in a world that frequently tests us. Ladies end up wrestling with the need to foster strength and inward courage. Consider this situation of a lady in the working environment. Unreasonable impediments and expert hindrances are as yet common. In any case, developing inward strength in such a setting includes something beyond getting through those roofs. It's tied in with exploring the unpredictable elements of the working environment, where unobtrusive predispositions and implicit assumptions wait. It's not just about professional success. It's tied in with arranging a territory full of generalizations and cultural standards. Developing inward strength implies dealing with these difficulties directly, perceiving what we have some control over, and continuing onward with a tough soul past the expert domain. Individual difficulties likewise request internal strength. From cultural assumptions to individual connections, ladies frequently wind up at the intersection of custom and advancement, wrestling with the harmony between individual desires and cultural standards. The excursion of developing internal strength is a profoundly private one, set apart by thoughtfulness and a guarantee to self-disclosure. It includes recognizing weaknesses, gaining from difficulties, and arising with a freshly discovered feeling of flexibility. I talked with Dr. Smith, a clinician gaining practical experience in self-awareness, and about the meaning of developing internal strength. As indicated by her, there's really no need to focus on stifling feelings, yet rather understanding and saddling them as a wellspring of force. It's tied in with tracking down a harmony among weakness and strength, permitting oneself to feel and learn without being overpowered. So as we investigate the excursion of developing internal strength, it's tied in with recognizing the complex difficulties ladies face, both in the expert field and inside the complexities of individual life. The way to flexibility includes contemplation, learning, and embracing the excursion towards turning into the planners of our own solidarity. Remain with us as we proceed with our investigation into the difficulties looked by ladies in this day and age. Presently, we should jump into the subsequent point, rehearsing close-to-home control in a world that frequently besieges us with improvements and incites a range of feelings. Ladies explore the sensitive craft of answering as opposed to responding indiscreetly. Picture this: a lady in a quick-moving corporate setting where cut-off times loom and pressures run intense. Rehearsing profound control here implies more than stifling sentiments. It's tied in with saddling feelings as a device for successful correspondence and navigation. Feelings are a strong power in the working environment. Rehearsing profound control doesn't mean becoming indifferent. It's tied in with directing the energy of feelings into useful activities. It's tied in with transforming difficulties into open doors and encouraging a positive workplace. Past the work environment, close-to-home control is tried in private connections. Exploring complex feelings and tending to clashes with a practical methodology is a workmanship that numerous ladies face in their excursion towards self-improvement. I had the amazing chance to plump down with Dr. Johnson, a famous relationship master who shed light on the significance of close-to-home control in private connections, as per her. It's tied in with making a space for open correspondence, understanding, and helpful exchange, even amidst profound disturbance. Close-to-home control isn't tied in with smothering sentiments. It's tied in with grasping them, overseeing them successfully, and involving them as devices for individual and relational development. In a world that frequently tosses curves, the capacity to answer mindfully as opposed to respond hastily turns into an important resource. So, as we explore the universe of feelings, ladies are travelers, yet talented pilots, guiding through the intricacies with effortlessness and shrewdness. Remain tuned as we proceed with our investigation into the characteristics that engage ladies to flourish notwithstanding difficulties. Presently, we should disentangle the complexities of the third point, being aware of discourse. In a world overwhelmed with words, ladies are exploring the craft of intentional correspondence, perceiving that each word conveys the possibility to shape insights and impact the account. Envision a corporate gathering where thoughts impact and choices are formed. Be aware of discourse here, and include something other than expressing contemplations. It's tied in with picking words, purposely guaranteeing that each adds to the aggregate development as opposed to propagating pointless clash. Words hold huge power, particularly in proficient settings. Being aware of discourse implies communicating thoughts plainly, yet additionally cultivating a climate where different voices are heard and regarded. About winding around an embroidery of words elevate and move. Past the work environment, the manner in which ladies convey in private connections assumes an urgent part in forming associations. Being aware of discourse and ordinary discussions includes communicating sentiments, yet in addition effectively tuning in. Encouraging compassion and building extensions of understanding. I got the opportunity to plunk down with Teacher Rodriguez as a phonetics master who underlined the meaning of language in molding cultural standards. As per her, being aware of discourse isn't just about individual discussions. About partaking in the bigger discourse shapes social mentalities and viewpoints. Each discussion turns into an amazing chance to enable, instruct, and move. Being aware of discourse permits ladies to shape accounts that challenge generalizations and make spaces for exchange and development. So as we investigate the subtleties of language, ladies are not simply speakers. They are modelers of talk, molding the stories that characterize our aggregate comprehension. Remain with us as we proceed with our excursion into the characteristics that engage ladies to explore the intricacies of the world with goal and reason. Presently, we should dig into the groundbreaking domain of point for showing tolerance in a world that frequently requests moment results. Ladies are excelling at persistence, perceiving that development, change, and achievement unfurl time permitting. Picture a situation where cut-off times are approaching and assumptions are high. Showing persistence here is something beyond pausing. It's tied in with understanding that the excursion to progress is a long-distance race, not a run. It's tied in with embracing difficulties with a made soul. Persistence is a foundation of outcome in the pioneering scene, where vulnerabilities are bountiful. Displaying persistence implies exploring misfortunes with an essential mentality, permitting thoughts to bloom and confiding during the time spent development past the expert circle. Persistence assumes an essential part in the complicated dance of individual connections, exploring the rhythmic movement of feelings. Understanding that self-improvement is a non-stop excursion and permitting associations to develop are features of showing tolerance in the domain of human association. I plunked down with Dr. Garcia, a relationship guide, to dive into the job of patience in cultivating solid associations, as per her. It isn't latent holding on to show persistence. It's a demonstration of a decision to sustain connections, permitting them to unfurl normally and endure everyday hardship. Persistence turns into a quiet strength, a power that engages ladies to explore the intricacies of existence with versatility and beauty. It's tied in with understanding that each challenge is a chance for development and that the actual excursion is just about as significant as the objective. So as we embrace the ethicalness of patience, ladies are not only sitting tight for change, they are organizing it with enduring assurance. Go along with us on this investigation of the characteristics that enable ladies to flourish in a world that frequently requests quick arrangements. Remain tuned for additional experiences into the specialty of persistence and the strength it brings to the excursion of life. Presently, we should set out on an excursion into the groundbreaking domain of Point 5, exhibiting appreciation in a world that frequently races ahead. Ladies are taking advantage of the significant force of appreciation, understanding that recognizing the upsides can be a reference point of light amidst difficulties. Picture a bustling office, cut-off times approaching and stress mounting. Exhibiting appreciation here isn't just about enduring the confusion. It's tied in with perceiving and valuing the aggregate exertion, making a culture of affirmation that powers inspiration and flexibility. Appreciation is an initiative device in the corporate world. Communicating appreciation goes past simple merriments. It's tied in with recognizing the difficult work of the group, cultivating a good workplace and making a space where everybody feels esteemed. Past the expert scene of illustrating, appreciation is a powerful power in self-improvement. It includes perceiving the illustrations implanted in difficulties, communicating gratitude for the emotionally supportive network, and developing a mentality that changes misfortunes into venturing stones for self-awareness. I had the delight of talking with Mentor Anderson, a holistic mentor who spent significant time in appreciation rehearses. As per him, exhibiting appreciation isn't just about saying bless your heart. It's tied in with coordinating appreciation into our day-to-day routines, perceiving the overflow that encompasses us and developing an outlook that draws in energy. Appreciation turns into a wellspring of versatility, a strong focal point through which ladies view the world. It's tied in with recognizing the qualities obtained from difficulties, tracking down silver linings, and making an expanding influence of energy in both individual and expert circles. So as we investigate the extraordinary force of appreciation, ladies are not only uninvolved beneficiaries of conditions. They are modelers of flexibility, molding their stories with a significant affirmation of the upsides. Go along with us as we proceed with our excursion into the characteristics that enable ladies to flourish in the midst of the intricacies of the world. Remain tuned for additional experiences into the craft of showing appreciation and the strength that brings to the embroidery of life. Presently, we should disentangle the layers of Point 6, focusing on prudence in our current reality where esteems now and again appear to obscure. Ladies are exploring the fragile equilibrium of maintaining righteousness, perceiving that the decisions add to the texture of a high-minded society. Envision a professional workplace where choices influence reality, However, the moral compass of an association focusing on prudence here is about more than making progress. It's tied in with guaranteeing that achievement is accomplished through respectable means, maintaining trustworthiness despite enticements. Righteousness is the compass that guides us through the intricacies of dynamics in the expert field. It's tied in with adjusting individual qualities to hierarchical morals, adding to a work culture based on trust and setting a model for others to follow. Past the work environment, focusing on prudence stretches out into individual connections. It includes exploring the mind-boggling dance of feelings with genuineness, encouraging trust, and settling on decisions that line up with one's ethical compass. In any event, when confronted with tough choices. I had the honor of talking with Dr. Rodriguez, a relationship guide, about the job of excellence in building solid associations, as per her. Focusing on uprightness is tied in with defining limits, imparting sincerely, and making an underpinning of trust that would go the distance. Ideals turn into a directing light, a wellspring of solidarity that ladies draw upon despite problems. It's about more than making the wisest decision. Encapsulating a bunch of values adds to the improvement of society at large. So as we investigate the unpredictable scene of prudence, ladies are not simply people simply deciding. They are planners of moral systems, adding to a general public based on trust, honesty, and shared values. Go along with us as we proceed with our excursion into the characteristics that enable ladies to explore the intricacies of the world with a pledge to righteousness. Remain tuned for additional bits of knowledge into the craft of focusing on ideals and the strength it brings to the aggregate moral texture of our lives. We should now dig into the convincing landscape of 0.7 being free in a world that frequently blossoms with interconnectedness. Ladies are excelling at confidence, perceiving that freedom isn't simply a decision, yet a strong impetus for self-awareness and strengthening. Envision a corporate scene where achievement is many times seen from the perspective of cooperation. Being free here isn't about detachment. About cutting away reflects individual qualities, creative reasoning, and a soul that blossoms with self-inspiration. Autonomy is the foundation of advancement in the pioneering scene. It's tied in with recognizing one's extraordinary assets, proceeding with well-balanced plans of action, and diagramming a course that lines up with individual vision and values. It's the main thrust behind groundbreaking undertakings past the expert domain. Being free is an excursion of individual strengthening. It includes pursuing choices with independence, putting forth private objectives, and embracing a mentality that values self-disclosure. This freedom turns into a wellspring of strength even with life's vulnerabilities. I had the joy of plunking down with Mentor Mitchell, a holistic mentor having some expertise in private strengthening. As per him, being free isn't tied in with giving help. It's tied in with remembering one's capacities, figuring out private qualities, and making a daily existence that reverberates with individual desires. Freedom turns into a guide, a wellspring of solidarity that ladies attract upon to explore the intricacies of the cutting-edge world. It's about something beyond monetary independence. It's about the opportunity to shape one's predetermination and add to the more extensive embroidery of society. So as we investigate the craft of autonomy, ladies are not only people exploring life. They are modelers of independence, graphing courses that mirror their remarkable assets and values. Go along with us as we proceed with our excursion into the characteristics that engage ladies to flourish in the midst of the complexities of the world. Remain tuned for additional bits of knowledge into the craft of being autonomous and the strength it brings to the embroidered artwork of our lives. Presently, we should disentangle the captivating elements of point 8, trying not to whine in reality as we know it, where complaints can frequently eclipse energy. Ladies are exploring the inconspicuous specialty of addressing difficulties without capitulating to the entanglements of steady grievance. Understanding that encouraging a positive outlook can be an extraordinary power. Picture a corporate setting where cut-off times live and tensions build. Abstaining from gripping here isn't tied in with disregarding difficulties. About developing a mentality moves the concentration from issues to arrangements, cultivating a climate of development and aggregate critical thinking. Griping resembles an infectious cloud that drifts over work environments. Keeping away from steady grumblings is tied in with encouraging a culture where difficulties are viewed as any open doors for development. It's tied in with adding to a good work environment that feels imagination and cooperation past the expert domain. Trying not to grumble is a training that reaches out into individual connections. It includes exploring hardships with flexibility, zeroing in on useful correspondence, and making a space where the two players can resolve issues without encouraging a negative climate. I had the delight of talking with Dr. Garcia, a relationship master, about the effect of consistent grumbling in connections, as per her. Keeping away from protests is tied in with encouraging open correspondence, grasping alternate points of view, and making an underpinning of trust that endures everyday hardship. The capacity to address difficulties without consistent objection turns into a superpower, a power that ladies employ to change snags into open doors. It's about something other than an uplifting outlook. An essential mentality enables people to emphatically impact their current circumstance. So as we investigate the nuanced craft of keeping away from consistent protests, ladies are not simply eyewitnesses of difficulties. They are modelers of a positive outlook, adding to conditions that encourage development and flexibility. Go along with us as we proceed with our excursion into the characteristics that enable ladies to explore the complexities of the world with an emphasis on arrangements. Remain tuned for additional experiences into the craft of abstaining from griping and the strength it brings to the aggregate mentality of our lives. We should now explore through the enamoring job of point 9. Keep up with balance in a world that can frequently be turbulent and eccentric. Ladies are excelling at self-restraint, understanding that keeping up with balance isn't just about appearances, yet an integral asset for viable correspondence and exploring difficulties with effortlessness. Imagine a meeting room where choices convey weight and pressures run intensely. Keeping up with balance here isn't just about looking formed. Cultivating a cool as a cucumber disposition impacts navigation, even despite difficulty, with balance as an initiative characteristic that goes past the surface. In the expert domain, keeping up with balance is tied in with exemplifying strength. Pursuing choices with an unmistakable psyche and setting a model for others during testing circumstances. It's a strong initiative device. Past the work environment, keeping up with balance is an excursion in private strengthening. It includes exploring life's vulnerabilities with a consistent hand, answering surprising circumstances with effortlessness, and embracing a mentality that considers difficulties to be open doors for development. I had the delight of talking with Mentor Rodriguez, a holistic mentor working in self-improvement, as per her. Keeping up with balance isn't tied in with smothering feelings, yet about understanding and diverting them actually. Developing an outlook embraces difficulties as a feature of the excursion. Keeping up with balance turns into an image of solidarity, a quality that ladies attract upon to explore the intricacies of life. There's actually no need to focus on imagining everything is great. It's turning around difficulties with a feeling of internal quiet and strength. So as we investigate the craft of keeping up with balance, ladies are not simply quiet eyewitnesses of difficulties. They are engineers of a formed mentality, adding to a reality where difficulties are met with effortlessness and versatility. Go along with us as we proceed with our excursion into the characteristics that enable ladies to flourish in the midst of the complexities of the world. Remain tuned for additional bits of knowledge into the specialty of keeping up with balance and the strength that brings to the embroidered artwork of our lives. We should now dig into the charming point 10 appearance compassion in this present reality where associations can now and again be stressed. Ladies are embracing the significant force of sympathy, perceiving that comprehension and discussing the thoughts of others isn't simply a righteousness, yet an impetus for building significant connections and cultivating empathy. Envision a situation in a professional workplace where cut-off times loom and group elements are feeling the squeeze. Showing sympathy here isn't simply a delicate expertise, it's a system-stunt way to deal with initiative. Understanding the difficulties faced by colleagues and recognizing their sentiments encourages a strong workplace. Compassion is an initiative superpower in the expert domain. Showing compassion goes past simple compassion. It's tied in with grasping the remarkable encounters of each colleague, making a culture of inclusivity and building an underpinning of trust that upgrades joint effort past the work environment. Showing compassion is a foundation of solid individual connections. It includes effectively tuning in, grasping the feelings of others, and making a space where people feel appreciated and esteemed even amidst conflicts. I had the honor of talking with Dr. Johnson, a relationship guide, about the meaning of compassion in connections, as per her. Showing compassion is tied in with perceiving and approving the sensations of others. Encouraging open correspondence and building associations that endure everyday hardship. Sympathy turns into an extension, a power that ladies use to interface with others on a more profound level. It's not just about understanding. It's about effectively taking part in the feelings of everyone around us. Making a culture of sympathy that waves through our networks. So as we investigate the unpredictable craft of showing sympathy, ladies are not simply aloof members in the human experience. They are draughtsmen of understanding and sympathy. Go along with us as we proceed with our excursion into the characteristics that engage ladies to flourish in the midst of the complexities of the world. Remain tuned for additional bits of knowledge into the specialty of showing compassion and the strength it brings to the embroidered artwork of our lives. Our investigation takes us to the 11th guide, the responsibility towards ceaseless improvement in a world that develops at a fast speed. Ladies are embracing the way of thinking of ceaseless development, perceiving that the excursion towards self-improvement isn't simply an individual undertaking, however, an extraordinary power that adds to a dynamic and moderate society. Imagine a situation where experts accumulate to improve their abilities. The obligation to persistent improvement here isn't simply a lifelong methodology. An outlook fills development, versatility, and a proactive way to deal with exploring the steadily changing scene of different ventures. Consistent improvement is a competitive edge in the expert domain. It's tied in with remaining on the ball, leveling up abilities at adjusting to arising patterns. It's not just about making do. Flourishing in a climate requests deftness and development past the work environment. The obligation to persistent improvement is an excursion of individual strengthening. It includes effectively looking for information, embracing new encounters, and developing a mentality that perspectives challenges not as snags, but rather as any open doors for development. I had the joy of talking with Dr. Rodriguez, a self-improvement master, about the meaning of ceaseless improvement in one's very own life, as per her. It's tied in with being interested. Defining objectives and embracing a mentality that considers consistently to be an opportunity to gain some new useful knowledge. The obligation to ceaseless improvement turns into an impetus moving ladies forward in their own and proficient excursions. It's about something beyond securing abilities. It's a guarantee to developing, adjusting, and adding to a general public that values progress. So as we investigate the way of thinking of non-stop improvement, ladies are not simply observers to change. They are draughtsmen of progress, adding to a world that embraces development, and flexibility. Go along with us as we proceed with our excursion into the characteristics that engage ladies to flourish in the midst of the complexities of the world. Remain tuned for additional bits of knowledge into the specialty of non-stop improvement and the strength it brings to the developing woven artwork of our lives. As we close our investigation into the 11 engaging characteristics that shaped the excursion of ladies in this day and age, We've dug into the complexities of flexibility, the capacity to understand anyone on a deeper level, compelling correspondence, thus significantly more. These characteristics are ascribed, however, to the amazing assets that ladies use to explore the intricacies of the cutting-edge period, from developing inward solidarity to showing compassion. Every quality we've examined adds to a lively embroidery of strength, sympathy, and development. We've seen that ladies are not simply exploring the difficulties. They are planners of positive change, forming stories, encouraging comprehension, and adding to a world that flourishes with variety and strength. On the off chance that you tracked down motivation in our excursion today, remember to offer this video a go-ahead. Share it with the people who might see the value in these bits of knowledge and buy into our feed for seriously engaging substance. We should enhance these voices. Commend the strength of ladies and proceed with this excursion together. Much obliged to you for going along with us on this investigation. Until sometime later, continue flourishing, continue to develop. Furthermore, recall, your solidarity isn't simply a story. It's a heritage really taking shape. Buy in, like, and offer. What's more, we should engage each other to make an existence where each lady's process is commended. Remain tuned for additional enabling discussions.